German philosopher George Hegel said it. The one thing we learn from history is that we don't learn from history. You know, that's pretty true, isn't it? History seems like an endless cycle of repeating the same horrible mistakes over and over and over ad infinitum. Here's another quote. I don't know who said it, but it goes kind of like this. History is not there for you to like or dislike. It's there for you to learn from. Now, I'd like you to, no matter who's watching this video, if you have kids, if you have grandkids, tell your kids or grandkids those two quotes at least once a week. And let this be the generation that learns from history. You know, we are right now a nation that is tearing down the statues of our founding fathers. Just recently up in New York, a statue of Thomas Jefferson and a statue of Theodore Roosevelt were torn down. Statues of Robert E. Lee and others, many of our statues have been torn down, not just by protesters, but by municipalities doing this also. But there's a statue of Vladimir Lenin. There's a 16-foot bronze statue of Vladimir Lenin still standing out in Seattle. Funny how that works. You remember Lenin? You know, he was the one who started Marxism, the Marxist Revolution in Russia in 1918. He's responsible for a minimum of 3 million deaths, up to 12 million people massacred. But we're going to take down the statue of Jefferson and leave the statue of Lenin? What's that all about? It reminds me of, have you read 1984? George Orwell? The main character in 1984 is named Winston. His job is literally to delete history, to make sure we don't learn from history and the parts that Big Brother doesn't want us to learn from. That's his literal job in 1984, is to strike a mark through the parts of history that Big Brother doesn't want us to learn from. It's kind of what we're doing right now. But you know, I'm not that concerned about statues coming down. I am concerned, but not so much. I mean, I think we should leave the statues up so we can learn from them. You know, even the bad parts, right? But I'm more concerned with the overall picture of learning the big Marxist lesson. So many of our Gen Zers and millennials are embracing Marxism, only they don't call it that. They call it democratic socialism. It's still Marxism. It still will destroy our society. Collectivism destroys. It's suicidal. If you don't believe that, run down some weekend to Venezuela and see how they're doing down there. Well, they've finished eating their cats and dogs, and now they're eating their zoo animals. And when they go to the bathroom, they have no toilet paper. That's how wonderful Marxism has worked in Venezuela. It has never worked. It's always brought misery, disease, and genocide, starvation. So remember those two quotes. Remember and tell those quotes to your kids and your grandkids over and over again. The one thing we learn from history is that we don't learn from history. And history is not there for you to put your stamp of approval on or to like or dislike. It's there for you to learn from. And let's make this young generation the first generation that actually learns from history and corrects the mistakes and stops the endless cycle of history repeating itself. Let's do it. Thank you for watching Tim's Challenge. I'll see you next time.